So here I'm putting the angle on the, it's called handle ends, the two pieces. And so what we need to do is cut off with these lines here. These lines were just reference. So I do have the exact line, so I'm going to use my panel cutting jig, and we're just going to line, I'm just lining this line up, eyeballing it, where it hits right at the plywood on my sled, and I'm putting the point up against this. And then we'll just do the other side as well. I've already done one of these, so I just kind of need to match it up and make sure that we're on the same page. Looks good to me. Let's cut it. Away we go. This sled is awesome. I didn't really think it was that good, but works really good. So we want to do this assembly first before I do these handle pieces, because I don't know exactly where those are going to sit. Just trying to make sure that I get all the glue off. I don't want any kind of glue marks, especially like over here where you saw the glue was on there. That's going to prevent any kind of finish from soaking in, and it's going to look different than the rest of it. So the moment of truth. Oh, damn. So we can put this aside. Guess I need to start working on those little pieces, those little handle pieces. So let's try to work on those next. $375. Okay, that just about does it. All 18 of these. So what I did here is I took a standard dowel. In the plan, if you look at the plan, they use 1/8 inch dowels in here, which is probably a better idea for the 1/2 inch thick material. I wanted to use a bigger one, so I used a 1/4 inch. What that means is that when you're going in the end of 1/2 inch thick material, you don't have much side to side. You might break out. You only have like 1/8 of an inch on each side. So I made a lot of use of my drill press so I could make sure that I drilled straight down in and I didn't veer off to one side or the other, which I didn't. And I had to put a lot of holes in here for the bottom and also the ends and the sides and things like that. So when I'm doing all that, it was really important for me to drill straight down. So what I did is I took the dowel, and it's kind of tapered here, and I put it in the grinder and just sort of grinded it down to a flat spot. And then initially I kind of just burned it. I put it in there, you know, pushed it too hard against the thing. So I kind of burned it to give it that darker color. Didn't quite give it the dark color that I wanted to, so I went ahead and I added a little bit of stain on the end of these and let that dry before I put them in. And so that's kind of how I did that. And I think all of the dowels are in, and the assembly went really good. This fit right down in these slots really nicely. I have some putty that I put in the corners, and so now it's just a question of lots and lots of sanding before I do the final assembly. The other thing that they did in the plan is what they did is they stained the end of the dovetails before they put it all together. Well, I wasn't that confident that my dovetails would be perfectly smooth. So what I did is I put it together, glued it, and then I sanded it so it's kind of nice and smooth. Well, that means that I don't have the contrasting color like this. So what I decided to do is I asked Emily for one of her little brushes that she uses for painting, just the smallest, tiniest little brush. And then I got some stain and I just sat there and did that. I'm gonna sand this, and then I'll show you on this side how I did this side. I probably shouldn't have had so much coffee this morning. I had a little bit too much coffee, and I think my hands are a little shaky, which is not a good combination when you're doing something so detailed as this. But we'll carry on and we'll try to do the best we can. Let's just put, and this is an old ancient can of stain. Okay, so if we just take this really small brush, I kind of cut it off so it was square on the end, and cut off any extraneous little things there. So I just kind of, I don't really want too much. And then I just kind of continue on here. I can have it come over this side because I can sand this side. That's not a problem. But I have to make sure I don't get any glue or any stain here. They're like a pinstriper. Those guys that do the pinstriping, it's pretty amazing. So if you see, like, I'm going over this edge a little bit, that's okay because I can run the sander and do that. All right, so we'll just continue on with this until it's all done. I think the last thing to do here is just put on the bottom and secure it with some screws. I think I might also do some feet in the corners. Maybe some of those 1-inch diameter gray feet, so that the toolbox would sit on the feet rather than sitting on the ground. And possibly absorbing some moisture and stuff. And I went round and round and round about whether I should glue it in or not, because it would be easier to replace it if I don't. You wanted to replace the bottom, but it'd be a lot stronger if I did. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. Okay, let's put a little bit of glue. So it'll kind of give some strength, but it won't be impossible to get apart. So I use galvanized screws in case the bottom of this gets a little bit wet. Then they'll be okay. I know the plywood probably won't do very well if it gets wet, but maybe after I seal the whole thing, it'll be a lot better. Okay, so my idea about the feet is maybe like, ew, like something like that, and then maybe one in the middle in case this thing is really heavy. But these ones I have to get something that's only 1/2 inch thick, so 1/2 inch screw, so I don't go through. Or I could do something like this, some felt pads, but I don't know, it seems like a toolbox is going to be in a rough environment, and these might catch on things and rip, and I think those gray ones might be better. Okay, that's the easy one. Okay, so I settled on 1.5 inches in. All right, well, I think that just about does it here on Scott's Garage. I had a really good time making this project. It was really fun, had some challenging aspects, but I think I did a pretty good job on the dados and the dovetails. So I hope you had a good time watching this, and I had a great time making it for you. And we'll see you next time on Scott's Garage. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.